Hello and welcome to the Health Oddity Podcast, episode 220. We have got a very, very special guest today, and it was sort of fortuitous or lucky that Pete managed to line this guest up. I think on Friday last week, and then just yesterday, this weekend, we're recording this on a Monday. This gentleman has done something very, very special over the weekend, so it's great that we're going to be speaking to him today. I will first of all touch base with Pete and just check that all is okay with him in Bath in Somerset. How are you doing, Pete? You okay?
I'm very well. I did something very, very special over the weekend as well. I went swimming with a dog in Cheltenham Lido, but it's not quite as special as what this guy did. So anyway.
Excellent. So we are joined today by John Gibb, who on social media, certainly on Instagram and on Facebook as well, is down as Highland Wolf or Highland Wolf _strength. And John is a Scottish stonelifter. He was Scotland's strongest stonelifter in 2023. He is the 157th Dinnie Stones and walker. He is a Cerberus strength athlete, a BTB sleeves athlete, and as of yesterday is Britain's strongest stone lifter 2024. So that is fantastic. He's probably still on a high, I would imagine, which is great. And also we've spoke about this documentary quite a lot over the last month or so. The Stones documentary, The Rise, the Fall and the Rise of Scottish Stonelifting, which was a great documentary put together by Maximum Iron. And John is featured on that documentary. And I literally have just watched it again this afternoon prior to this conversation to get me in the mood and just to kind of brush up on some stuff. So it's absolutely great. What's that?
Is that what you say to Steph? I'm just going to watch the Stones documentary to get me in the mood.
Hey, dearie me. Anyway, enough of that. So welcome, John, to the Health Oddity Podcast. How are you doing?
Not bad at all, James. Thanks very much for having me, and to you as well, Pete.
Excellent.
And you're very welcome.
Whereabouts are you joining us from in Scotland?
I'm up in Aberdeen.
Aberdeen.
Mafford, a little village just 20 miles from Aberdeen, but I stay in Aberdeen now with the family. So
excellent. And yeah, so I suppose, hopefully some more people now, since we've been talking about it a lot, will have been watching this Stones documentary. We obviously, when we had Stevie Shanks on a few weeks ago, we talked about the kind of, I suppose, one of the documentaries or the thing that kicked it off for a lot of people, probably, I think it was maybe 2020, 2021, the Stoneland documentary as well from Rogue, which was very big a number of years ago. But yeah, John, I suppose to begin with, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, about your background, about how you got involved in physical culture, lifting, strength, stone lifting, all that kind of thing?
I can do that.
Yeah, brilliant.
When I was younger, I always played football, so I was very sporty and things. My early 20s, I'd moved to New Zealand, played football over there for 3-4 years. Then I moved back home. Kind of fell out of the sports for a while and things. Just was getting on with life, kids, wife, things like that. And then kind of COVID hit, and there was actually a mate from New Zealand tagged me in this push-up thing for men's mental health. And it was like, do 20 press-ups every day for a month or something. And I started doing that for a month, and I couldn't believe the difference in myself within that month of doing it. And then, obviously COVID, it was all lockdown and things. So I just started finding my dad's old weights and stuff and started doing some weightlifting. No experience in weightlifting, had no idea. So if you go to the very first videos of my Instagram, they're pretty embarrassing, to be fair, but absolutely clueless. But luckily in the last almost 4 years, I've learned a fair bit. So I think it was 2021, and my New Year's resolution was to lift the Dinnie Stones. I'd been watching the Stoltman brothers and that, they'd all came up on, World's Strongest Man and things like that, and seeing their connection, the two brothers, I unfortunately lost my brother when he was 20. That's about 22 years ago now. I was only 15 at the time. I'm 38 now. So yeah, no, not a spring chicken anymore.
You are
But,
you are on this podcast, mate.
You are compared to us. Yeah. Yeah.
certainly don't feel it today anyway. But yeah, so like their connection and that really just sort of reminded me of my brother and our connection and things. So he always had a fascination about these Dinnie Stones, and I didn't. I've actually got a photo of him lifting the smallest one when he was 15 with two hands, and it was 144 kg, around about that. So that photo kind of triggered me to set that New Year's goal of, right, let's try and lift the Dinnie Stones. And in my head, I thought that'll take a year to 2 years to do. So I started, doing the usual Googling Donald Dinnie website and that, which there's heaps of information on. Then started YouTubing, and one of the first things that came up was some of Stevie Shanks's YouTube videos. He's got quite a few on there. So I managed to find him on Instagram, and yeah, just started chit-chatting back and forth. He started giving me little tips and tricks here and there for a couple of weeks. And then he pointed me in the direction of Jim Splain and Brett Nicol. Now, Jim, he's in his 70s now, I believe, but he's lifted the Dinnie Stones about 70 times, and he's one of the lightest people to ever do it as well. Really gifted, really strength orientated guy with a lot of history behind his name. So it was cool to get talking with him and learning. And then he pushed me towards Brett Nicol, and he says, go out to see if you can meet Brett, talk with him, and Brett will let you know. Brett just, he's a no nonsense sort of guy. So if he thinks that you're not capable, he'll be pretty honest. And I mean, I was a pretty skinny sort of guy when I went to him for a start, but he did say there's something here, so we're going to work with it. And I was out at his maybe twice a week for, I don't know, maybe about 4 or 5 months, and just kept, trying to eat the right food, just kept training, working hard in my garden, going out to his, kept doing it. And then he just kept peaking and peaking. So the first time I went out to his, I actually lifted the Nicol Stones, and you've probably seen them in Giants Live. And
yeah.
So I'd seen them in Europe's Strongest Man as well, and seeing Luke Richardson and all that, lifting them. So to go out and then get a chance of holding these, so I did a straddle lift, and I picked them up in my first visit, and that was just over quarter a ton, 252 kg they are together. And Brett was like, right, we'll work on this. So we just kept each week adding some weights on onto the Nicol Stones and things, gradually building it up until I think it was like 6 months later, he actually booked me in for my Dinnie lift, and I managed to get the Dinnie Stones in the July. So yeah, I'd done them about a year quicker than I thought I would. Yeah, it was really cool to
just for people, for us and for other people listening. We have a lot of people listening in like America and Canada and all over. I mean, and Scotland is I was gonna say, is a small place compared to some of these huge countries. Yeah. How far away from where you live are the Dinnie Stones? I mean, are you?
I'm quite lucky. Where Aberdeen is, I'm about a 40-minute drive. So they're out towards the other side of, there's a place, Bankery, and they're just at a place called Potarch. So yeah, it's only about a 40-minute drive. And Brett Nicol lives 2 miles up the road from the actual Dinnie Stones as well. You'll know Brett Nicol. He's lifted them almost 600 times now. Yeah, he watches over.
He's the guy in the film, isn't he? Him and his son do it on the same day.
No,
was that not him?
No, that's Dr. Bill Crawford, isn't it?
Oh, was it? Sorry.
Sorry.
Bill Crawford and his son Billy Crawford. They did that a couple of years back together. Yeah. Pretty cool moment as well. But yeah, Brett he took me under his wing really, and just he just filled me full of confidence. He was like, once you start managing to pick up these stones and things, you'll really start going places. So you obviously saw something at the start, and you know, when you've got somebody like that backing you, it just fills you with confidence, and once you want to work harder towards your goals. So yeah, it's been a real cool start to the journey.
And you mentioned that when you first went and saw Brett, that you were kind of fairly slim, or you know, smaller than you are now, and then you were eating a certain way, and you were trying. So how much kind of weight or size did you put on from the training and from trying to get stronger and get bigger to kind of to lift these stones?
When I first went out to Brett's, I think I was sitting at about 102 kg. So I wasn't like a small guy, but
Yeah.
I'm a sort of guy. I'm 6 foot tall, but I now sit about 120. I have been up as high as 125 at the start of this year, but that was too much, and I felt like it was affecting my cardio and that. So I managed to drop off about 5 kg. So I'm sitting about 120 now, about 19 stone.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I went out to Brett's, I definitely needed to put on muscle, and it's amazing. You know, I'm a natural athlete, but just the hard work and that I put in, the amount of muscle that I've put on in 2.5, 3 years, I'm surprised. I didn't actually think it was possible, but it just shows you if you knuckle down and you stay regimented, you can hit these goals.
And especially in your late 30s, really, because I suppose you've put on that weight between
Yeah,
35 and 38 years of age. So
yeah,
yeah, that's great. Yeah.
yeah. I was 35 started this, so yeah.
Yeah.
What I
Sorry.
find interesting about that is because people watch it, don't they? And I know some of my mates will watch stuff like, you know, strongman and stuff like that, and they'll just go, "Yeah, just eat loads and get massive, and then like you can move stuff." And it's like you've just said, you're at 120, just 5 kilos more tips you over for you. You know, but then it makes you realize what like the big guys do in World's Strongest Man. Like you kind of all they're almost putting their lives on the line, aren't they, for the sport? And then
the sizes of those guys get up to, it's crazy, but it's amazing what they can do and how they put their bodies and things like that.
Exactly. So it's not just simple. It's simple because people think, "Oh, just eat loads and become a strong man." It's like, no.
Yeah.
There's a little bit more to it than that.
I know. I do enjoy the eating side of things, but yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun.
And then what happened? So the Dinnies was really your entry point back into kind of training, strength, that kind of thing. But then obviously with the videos that I've been watching and on the Stones documentary itself, but then the videos from like the weekend just gone, yesterday even. I mean, first of all, how are you feeling after yesterday physically? Are you a bit sore and battered and tired? And
I'm bruised quite a bit. I've got muscles that are hurting that I didn't even know I had muscles in the areas. But yeah, I am feeling a bit tired as well because it was a long day. I was actually at Giants Live Glasgow on the Saturday. We stayed in Glasgow on the Saturday night, then a 2-hour drive up to Aberfeldy. Got there about 8:15, competed all day. That finished. Prize given was about 6 p.m. And then we got home to Aberdeen at about 9:30 last night. So
oh God.
Yeah, and then there was that storm going on through it all as well. So it was a wild day yesterday. That's for
and
sure.
you've had today off work. You've been resting today.
Luckily, I booked it off. I did say to work that I might be in, but yeah, I quickly decided that I wasn't.
Yeah. And the Giants Live at the weekend, the World Tour Finals, where Mitch Hooper just like won every event, didn't he? And then didn't even have to do the Stones at the end. He was so far ahead. Yeah.
He was just in a league of his own. He's so methodical about every event and things. I was down 2 years ago with the Nickel Stones because Brett Nickel, they were used at Glasgow, and we were down there backstage. And even that year, Mitch Hooper competed, and he was there before every other strongman. You know, he was looking over every bit of equipment, and he was even doing that on Saturday. Like 4 o'clock, we were an hour early into it, as I always am. I'm always early. And he was out there like practicing with the monster dumbbells. He was the only guy that I saw out there actually doing it. But yeah, he's just real like he wants to suss out absolutely everything to an absolute T. It's really impressive to watch, actually.
Yeah, because I think he's like podiumed on like the last 9 or 10 shows that he's done, hasn't he? He hasn't. He's just like.
I think it's like 20 podiums in a row.
Oh, is it 20 podiums in a row? Yeah.
Ridiculous like that, and he's done the clean sweep at Giants Live this year of all their main shows.
Yeah.
And that, but it was pretty cool because Chris Beetham got a call up. He's in the Stones documentary.
Yeah.
And I've actually competed against my very first comp, going back to my Dinnie lift. Once you lift the Dinnies, you can qualify to compete in the Donald Dinnie Games. But this was the year of sort of COVID, so it was kind of closed off. So it was a smaller event. But I competed against Chris Beetham and Connor Curran and things. And I was like a rabbit in the headlights. So it was my first comp. I was kind of just chucked in there just as a number, but I think there was 8 guys, and I still came 6th. But it really triggered me to like just want more of it. So that's when the stone to shoulder and things all started really kicking off for me. Struggled with my pickup and my shoulder strength and that, but really worked on it a lot to get it up to the level that I'm at now.
Yeah. So with this, so you are a stone lifter. That is your kind of what you compete in and what you train for. Do you exclusively train with stones and stone type implements, or do you do conventional kind of training as well to obviously to help you build whole body strength? I mean, what does your training look like?
I'm more conventional. I do have stones out in the garden. I've got several, like from 100 up to 130 something. I've got Atlas stones out there made from Atlas Endurance. They go from range from about 50 kg up to 160. But I couldn't just focus on stones all the time. I need the steel involved as well, or I think I'd go crazy and training the same thing day in, day out. So no, I love squatting. I love deadlifting. I don't like benching as much, but I quite like incline bench. But yeah, I've got a coach, Jackson Works, who runs Dundee Strength Unit, and I've worked with him for about 2 years now, and he keeps me on track. Really top class coach. But he keeps me like a lower, an upper, and then an event session at the weekend. Sort of depends what competition I'm working towards. Last year I did dabble a bit in strongman as well, so I have done strongman comps in the past as well. Not too bad last year on that. Competed at the British Natural Strongman Federation. I came second in the Scottish qualifier, and then I went down to York to compete in the British final. Can't remember how much guys there was. I think there was about 15 or 16, and I came 10th. Yeah, 10th I came. So, but that was like one of my first major comps. So I've always gave it my all in anything I do. But this year I set out for the stone lifting sort of thing. I said that this year's the year of the stones, and I've done some amazing things.
Yeah, fantastic. And do you train exclusively at home, or do you go to a gym as well?
I was going to a gym. I went to a gym for about 2 years, and then I moved to another gym, and then I moved to another gym. But I was just finding like I'm at an age that I was going into the gym, and there was like kids from uni and that high-fiving one another and stuff, and I was like, I'm just too old for this. So I actually said to the wife, can I just build my own shed in the garden and make it my wee haven? And that's where I'm sitting right now. I'm so chuffed with it. It's only been up since June, but I think I've seen the wife. Obviously, I saw her yesterday, and I think I've seen her 2 other times since June. So I'm just out here all the time.
well, but where you are is quite rugged, isn't it? It hasn't survived a winter yet.
I built it not too bad, but yeah, I got a nice concrete base down, and then I put the shed on top. So there's plenty of Rio bar in the base and stuff. So it's been handling some big.
I think this is great though, because like a lot of people, like, you know, like there's a lot of people, certainly who we speak to, but a lot of people I speak to as well, just in general. James probably gets with the gym, and COVID has a lot of like COVID's like a turning point for a lot of people that just got COVID happen and then had to find things to do. David did that with stone lifting, David Keown, because he couldn't get to the gym anymore and he was doing kettlebell sport and everything. So he started lifting stones in his garden, and that turned a corner. But I think what's great is you said that kind of turn a corner, but then like now you've built a shed in your garden just specifically for lifting stuff. You've got stones everywhere. You've got all in, haven't you? It's amazing.
It is. It's crazy, and I do think that COVID was a real turning point. I've got 2 wee boys. Well, I've actually got 4 boys in total. I've got 2 big boys. I've got 2 wee boys. But my third eldest, he's 5. He's been training with me since I started this, so he's been training since he's 1 up until 5, and he's an absolute legend of this. I think he's more popular than I am on Instagram and things like that. Because
I was going to say, I was watching some of your videos the other day, and there's a lady I train, a Scottish lady called Edith, who is 65 years of age, and she's been training with me for 15 years now, and she's now getting into the doing some of the Atlas stones and things. At 65, and she watched the Stones documentary. She really liked it. She started listening to the Stones of Strength podcast, and I was showing her some of your videos, and I said, "Oh, we've got John coming on the podcast." I saw her Saturday, and I showed her the videos of the two young boys, you know, doing like the Dinnie Stones, you know, the Dinnie pins, and then lifting rugged stones up, and I mean. So is one about, I said one looks about 5 and one looks about 3. Is that about right? Or
yeah, the youngest just turned 3 last week. So yeah, you're bang on, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah,
3-year-old.
They're just mad for it. You know, I've tried to put the 5-year-old into football training and that, and he just hated it. And he said, "Dad, I don't want to go back." He went there a couple of weeks ago. He was crying. So he came back here, and I was like, right, I'm going to do a workout. And he came in here, and he just came alive again. You know, he just loves it. I've got their own little wee deadlift bar. I never put any big weights on because you've got to watch their body and you've got to be clever. But they think they're doing big weights, you know, and they love it. And he just comes alive in the gym. And we've done stone tours as well. And I think because he was a COVID baby, he was very shy. But we've been on stone tours, and he's just comes alive. It's so amazing to see. You know, his shyness just goes, and he's just part of the team. So it's real cool.
Excellent.
Well, it's like it's they say in the film, don't they? It's like you know, for you guys, it's like some people get the wind under it, some people get it to their lap, some people get some shoulder. Martin's list was putting like things above his head and stuff like that. And it's like everyone gets the same cheer. Because it's like it's a massive thing. So then with kids, you start with a pebble, and then just, you know, and I think that's amazing because they're in the film as well, aren't they? And it's just
they are.
It's fantastic.
We made a wee entry at the end of the film there, which is very. But yeah, it's all about just giving people confidence and feeling good in themselves and that, and that's what I like, the camaraderie between a stone tour and the people and that. You know, you've got women just coming into it, which is amazing to see. You know, and doing great lifts, and we're placing stones, slightly lighter stones than the big ones. So, you know, there's stones for all levels, stone lifters and things. It's just a really cool thing to be a part of. And
Gary Clark from Britain's Disabled Strongman, Gary Clark. I don't know if you know Gary, but he runs the Britain's Disabled Strongman and Strongwoman, and he was saying he's going up to Scotland next June to do some kind of stone tour up there. And I kind of said to him, and he did say who he was going to meet up there. Someone who's up there is a good friend of his. And I said, "Oh, well, what are you going to do?" Because he's got cerebral palsy, isn't it, Pete? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I sort of said, "Well, are you going to like take your chair up?" Because when they do the disabled events, they kind of the Atlas stones they take from one side and they load them to the other side. And he said, "Oh yeah, I'll have my chair, and some things I'll probably lift from the bench on the front of the chair up to shoulder." You know, he's been doing stuff in the garden, and so yeah, it's incredible. You know, there's all
there's a way. You see amazing things with these disabled athletes and things now. so cool that everybody's getting involved with it. It's nice to see, and I'll look forward to seeing those videos as well. It'll be cool.
Yeah. So in terms of the specifics then of what you did, like, because obviously we'll give everyone your social media kind of handles and stuff again at the end, and really recommend people watch, follow and watch what you do. But the events that you had yesterday, so because if you say to someone, right, well, there was a competition and it was for Britain's strongest stone lifter, they think, well, what, stone lifting is just, well, what do? You just lift it, and what can you do? But the events that I saw, was there like 5 events or 4 or 5? Yeah, and they were very different, weren't they? So explain what the events were and kind of, yeah.
Event 1 was stone to shoulder, and it was sort of a round robin style. So there was, in the men's group, there was 12 athletes, and everybody had to shoulder the first stone and then go back. And the first stone was 95 kg, and then I think the second stone, then you moved on to 112 kg to shoulder. If you didn't make the lift, then you were out, basically. But the standard yesterday was just crazy. Because it was pouring down with rain and we were in a storm, Jamie had dropped out the heaviest stone just for safety reasons, but everybody basically shouldered the 130. I think maybe one guy failed a 130 stone. So Jamie was, right, we're going to put in the 140 stone. So we did 5 stones to shoulder, and it was basically whoever put the last stone to their shoulder won that event. And I was lucky enough to come second in that event. 140 kg stone to shoulder. I think I did it in about 5 to 6 seconds or something. I'm not right sure the time, but it was enough to get me second place. Then we moved on to the McGregor walking stones event. So that's like based off the Dinnies or the nickel stones with the rings in the top of them. 15-meter course, get to the 15 meters and turn around. If you drop the stones, that's your distance. You do, at the start of it, have like a 3-meter zone that's safe. So with the first 3 meters, you could put the stones down for 10 seconds and then go again. But I always find it's easier just to go for it. So my previous best was about 13.5 meters, but I did 17 meters 30 something yesterday. So that was enough to take the event win on that one.
What's the weight on those as well?
Together they're 252 kg, so just over a quarter of a ton. So 140 in one hand and 112 in the other.
And like you say, they're on those thin rings, are they? Yeah. So yeah.
I'm surprised how good my hands are today. To be fair, there's no calluses, breaks, or anything like that.
You look like you've had a manicure there. Oh, he's not a proper strongman.
That's the key to it.
Plastic.
The
Plastic
key is
strongman.
The key to ring stones is cutting off your calluses. Keep them all trimmed down as much as you can. It saves them breaking. Yeah. So yeah, I won that event. Event 3 was into 140 kg stone duck walk. So it was a stone with a duck walk handle fitted into the top of it and go as far as you could. I managed to take 3rd place on that one. 4th event was the Matthews stones, which was 2 blocks of sandstone, one weighing 100 kg, the other 120, had a 2.5 meter chain between them. So you had to pick up one stone, loop it round, pick up the other, and complete the 15-meter course as quick as you can. So yeah, I won that event as well. So I took the event win on that. That's my 3rd.
That was amazing. That one, I've not seen that before.
And it's savage. Nobody likes it. I seem to be really good at it because I've done it 3 times and I've came 1st twice and 2nd once. So no.
Surely there's got to be a technique where you just pick up the lighter stone and drag the heavier stone by the chain, right? Someone's got to do that at some point in the future for a laugh.
The ref will stop you. I would like.
The thing is, though, is that not that's likely to be nigh on impossible, isn't it? I think you should get extra points for doing that.
Throwing the stone, there's no dragging the stone. You've just got to get to the length. But there is wee tricks to the trade and things like that. So there's little things to make it easier. So I've learned those. So no, that event went really well, and then we finished on the stone load to barrel. That was a 5 stone load, but honestly, guys, it was gale force winds. The rain was coming down sideways. There was 5 stones lined up. Only one guy got the 4th stone loaded. Everybody else did the first 3, I think. Maybe some guys didn't even get the 3rd. Big Dean, he was the only guy to get the 4th stone, which was about 150, I think, but it was a really impressive lift. I came 3rd in that event because I had a really fast first 3 stones. So yeah, that was enough for me to secure the win. So I took a possible 55 points out of 60 to win it. So yeah, I was
that video of that last event. You can just hear and see like the rain and people are wearing like those dry robes and they're just like, and it's just the wind's just like latching across. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
It ran on about an hour later, so it was actually coming down dark as well. So we're asking if we'd brought our head torches with us or something to get the event finished. But yeah, no, it was just it was a hell of a feeling to take that win. I won Scotland's because there was qualifiers for this. There was a couple English qualifiers, an Irish one, a Scottish one. So I won the Scottish one earlier this year. It was a really close battle with Ross McIntosh, but I managed to get the win there, and then I took the win. So I managed to do the double this year. So really, really chuffed.
And am I right in saying that the 3 people on the podium yesterday were all Scottish, weren't they? The 3, yeah.
yeah, we did. We couldn't believe it once it actually happened. So no, we're really, really chuffed that the 3 Scottish guys got the.
And then just so everyone knows, obviously, all the stones that you're talking about from the event yesterday, they're all like natural stones. They're all like rugged stones. They're all not misshapen, but not evenly shapen. They're all kind of natural things. Whereas you do, like you said, you've got your Atlas stones as well in the garden, haven't you? From Atlas Endurance, I think that I saw. Yeah, as well. Yeah. So do you ever have competitions where you use Atlas stones or do you just use them for training or
just for training really? Atlas stones are more used in the strongman side of things. Well, I did battle for Mercia last year and they used Atlas stones in their last event, Atlas stone to barrel. So I have used them, but in natural stone lifting, there's no tacky. So it's always tackless Atlas stones. All my stones out there are tackless as well. So they haven't seen any tacky at all. I hate the stuff. It's horrible. But for Britain's, Jamie Goran does a great job. He runs the event with his Mrs. Gale, and he goes out and finds all these stones from all over Scotland. And I think he's out walking his dog and he'll spot a stone and drag it miles back to the motor, and then it's in the comp. So yeah, he does an amazing job. I really have to take my hat off to him and his team for the show that they put on and how they look after the athletes as well. You turn up. I didn't have to. Everybody qualified, so nobody paid for entry yesterday. You turn up. You've got socks, t-shirts, a goodie bag with like sweeties, banana, everything in it, and then every event winner gets a prize for each event, and then you've got a lovely big trophy to take home at the end of the day as well.
Look at that.
Oh, is that the one that's behind you, sort of that side? Yeah.
This was Scotland's, and this was yesterday's one, Britain's. So that's the double there.
It's a proper shed of strength. We love it.
Love it. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Yeah.
Look at that.
The cracker. Absolute beauty of a trophy.
That is a lovely. In fact, that's a nicer, because when it's that far behind you, you can't tell how big it is. You know what I mean? But that's a decent sized trophy. Yeah, that's lovely. Yeah.
Oh, I'm feeling my knees standing up to get it.
So presumably in the goodie bag, the bananas for scale, like so you can show for scale for how big the stones are.
Yeah.
Oh, And in the shed there, John, you've got like, because I've seen that obviously on when people go to follow you on Instagram, they'll see, but you've got like loads of like pin handles and stuff on the wall, haven't you? And do you have like grip implements and stuff? Do you do grip strength training and stuff like that as well?
My good friend Jamie Oates at BTB Sleeves, who I'm an athlete for, he makes all these implements for me. Mark Haydock made those, and then these are all my well, some are Dinnie pin trainers, some are nickel stone. These are the Cerberus nickel stone ones.
Yeah.
Mate Jamie made these Dinnie ones. That was my very first set that my dad made me. He's a fabricator welder. That's what I am to trade, but I'm an office boy now, so that's why I've got energy to be able to do all this. And Gordon Ingram made these, so I'm kind of collecting them because it's all different people that's made them, and I just think they look cool. So yeah. And the grip.
Oh, and you've got some. I can see you got some Captains of Crush there as well.
Yeah, Captains of Crush.
So what can you close on the Captains of Crush?
I've done what have I got up to? I think it's the 2 I've got. Yeah, I've done the 2 on my strong hand. 1.5. But yeah, just repping it out as well. You know, once you're up at that sort of pressure, they're tough going. Really cool. And
have you got fairly sizable hands? I'm just wondering for
they're pretty average, I would say. They've definitely got chunkier. I probably had more piano player hands before I got into Stonelifting. They're all battered and chunky and things like that. So they've definitely changed. But
no, because at my gym, oh wow, and you got show us all the sandbags and oh wow, yeah,
sandbags here. I've got 160 sandbag which I shouldered just a week or so ago. Cerberus sent me that out, which was brilliant. And I've got a 40 that the wife uses, and then 100 under there, which is just a really good weight to rep out here and there.
Brilliant.
Platform for doing stones. Got my wee heater and all that set up, and then I've got the squat rack and deadlift area.
That's a great setup. That is brilliant. Yeah.
And then around here, I've got my Donald Dinnie Day t-shirt set up there with the kilts, log, deadlift bar, squat bar, Saxon bar, and just all the plates and things. So yeah, it's crazy how quick you get carried away. I'm not my wife how much I've spent on all this.
No, because I've got all the Captains of Crush sort of at my gym, and I think I bought up to the 2.5 because I just bought like loads, and I can shut the 1.5 on both sides. The 2 is like if I get the 2 to kind of parallel or under parallel, you know what I mean, shut, then I'm kind of haven't managed to screw, you know, that's like one that I don't, you know, I just kind of can get it to parallel or just better than parallel, but nothing more than
that 2 is really tough. There's no doubt about that. You have to be properly warmed up for them as well. You have to really kind of work your way through the numbers and get your hands really going. But it's just, you know, I like to maybe every couple of weeks I'll try and slip in a grip session, and that just depends how heavy my other sessions are and things. So you just got to kind of speak with the coach, and you know, you don't want to fatigue your grip if you're doing stones and stuff the next day and things. So just clever with it all, really.
Yeah.
And me and Captains of Crush don't get on because the way you're meant to do it, obviously, you put the thing in, don't you, straight, and it's like got to be there, wherever, like right in your, like almost in your palm. The way the shapes thing do that, and then when I do that, I can't get my fingers to reach the other side because my hands are dead little. I'm only small.
But you can set it a bit with the other hand as well, can't you? As long as it's not more than like a credit card's width.
Get that feel on it, and plenty chalk as well, because I always find they're quite slippy as well. So get your hands really chalked up as well, and you just got to go for it. But I love that Saxon bar as well. My mate Jamie made the Saxon bar, and it's really cool for doing Saxon deadlifts.
Is that is that like the rectangular bar? You have to put your hand over and you lift it with like a pinch grip almost. Yeah.
But, It's amazing how little a weight can feel really heavy with that. I think I've been up to about 70, maybe just over 70 with it. But yeah, it really fatigues the
I think
people.
I saw the other day IMBB do like 140 kilos
I know
or
it
something with it.
was like a world record or something, or he didn't set it down right, did he, or something? But
Yeah, but he just pinch gripped it and he deadlifted it up, and I think it was 140 on there, which is incredible, Just quite a bit of a technical question, I suppose, John, in terms of sandbags and how
yeah.
they relate to. We might lose a few people on this bit, but it's fine. in terms of I'm sure, but no, but sandbag lifting and sandbag training as it relates to improving stone lifting. Do you find that that using the sandbags has got a good crossover and a good transfer over to stones? Because the sandbags are quite awkward, obviously, to lift because they're a bit more malleable. But I mean, yeah, what's your take on sandbags assisting with stones, and if the sandbags are harder, easier, if they make the stone lifting easier? What do you think?
I think they are a great training aid for stone lifting. I really do. You've got the same position, start position. The only thing's different is like your grip, because a natural stone can be, like you say, uneven on one side. You could have more weight on one side compared to the other. A sandbag's fairly even, so you're not getting that. But I think from the power off the ground to your knees, the stand up, all that through the legs, you're really getting a good workout, and it will transfer onto your stone lifting really good. And just the squeeze of the sand, getting your hand, shoulder power. I said at the start, like my shoulder power was really down for like squeezing onto these stones, and I always mind Brett and Mark Sheriffs and that saying, once you manage to squeeze on these stones, you'll throw anything, because for some reason I've got a freakishly strong lower back. So yeah, and that's what I did. And sandbags were one of the things that I used, and tackless atlas stones was the other one I used a lot. But just that, that position of starting and dropping, dipping into your legs, and then power off the ground. A lot of folk will say it's with your lower back, but the initial pickup is with your legs, really, and it's getting that right timing with your legs and it's all about timing and being technical, really, and driving that power up. And then once it's on your legs, it's getting that drive straight up and keeping all the weight as central as you can, really.
And do you, from once you've lapped it, once you've got something on your lap, are you then just squeezing the stone into you as much as you can to kind of create that kind of pressure and then you stand with it? You're really trying to just squeeze the stone in to get as tight as you can, are you?
That's one of my favorite bits about stone lifting is studying the stone. And I've got a technique that is different to other folk. Some people are the same as me, but I like to, if the stone's slightly longer, I'll pick it up lengthways, but then I'll turn it on my lap so it's sitting tall on my knees, and then I'll get nice into my squat position, and then I'll get that stone as tight into my chest and on top of my belly as I can, so I can just roll it up onto my shoulder. I try and stay away from this jolting because I just find it so bad on your spine. I mean, some people do it and they put incredible weights up to their shoulders doing it, and they get away with it. But for me, I don't think my spine would take all that jolting motion. So
you try and go from like your squat position where it's on your thighs, up to the shoulder in one motion,
in one sort of go. Yeah. You look back at my videos, I just try and get it as tight as I can so the stone is on top of my belly, sort of central to the diaphragm, and then just you power up with your legs, and as you're going, you're using that momentum of your leg drive to get the stone to your shoulder, sort of thing. It is real technical, and it takes a lot of time to master it. It doesn't just happen overnight, but there's some incredible lifters out there, and it's amazing how much different techniques there is to it. It's not everybody does the same thing, and that's what makes it so cool as well.
I was going to say that's in the documentary, because like some of the guys are like it must be. I watched it last week or the week before. some guys pick it up and it's almost like they just pick it up and put it straight on the shoulder like that, as if it's light.
Yeah.
But then there's other, like you say, there's other people who jolt it, and I look at it and I'm like, it just makes it look heavier. But if it's the technique, it's the technique, isn't it? If that's the best for them, you know. So
like some guys will do one motions, which is just, you know, I'm quite good at those. I've done the Castle Mingus one, and it's 115 kg, and that's just picking straight from the ground, momentum the whole way up, right to the shoulder without stopping, one motion. And then my best stone that I've done, I got probably one of Scotland's heaviest stones, the Ardvorlich. I was the 12th person to get that to my shoulder this year, but that was a pickup to my knees and then really power it up. I'd had about 5 visits to the Ardvorlich, little progression each time, but I was just so delighted to get that to my shoulder this year. It was a real special moment. And the only 12 people, and you know, the 12 in front of me is like Chris Beetham, Connor Curran, Martins Lissis, you know, like really top lads that have all like competed at the top level, you know. So it's just cool to be on that list with Andy Kernan, Andy Crawford, and that as well. Really strong lads.
Yeah, we've seen Chris competing in the
UK strongest man, haven't we?
Yeah, because he did that in Nottingham a couple of years ago. He did that 200 kilo stone, which is the Atlas stone, but it was like it had a much bigger circumference.
Yeah.
Well, not much bigger, a slightly bigger, but like the slightly bigger makes it massive, doesn't it? And he was the only person, he was the only guy who lifted it that day. Yeah, it was bonkers, and he was so happy.
I think it's like your concrete density and things like that will depend on what size your stone is and stuff like that. I've always stuck to Atlas Endurance. Stephen that runs it with his dads, they're just top.
One of their
oh, so you've got him on.
Yeah. No, I think that the Atlas Endurance stones look absolutely beautiful, don't they? Because I know I know the ones you've got are the kind of almost like the like a dark grey with the gold sort of
exactly, yeah, he personalized them for me and things like that. So he does those little touches that just makes it extra special. So.
And I saw the lovely ones he did for Scotland's strongest man recently. Kind of, I think they called them the Thistle Stones, and they were like a kind of a purple, you know, and they just looked like marbles, you know. They just looked absolutely beautiful.
They were stunning. They were absolutely stunning. They didn't look stunning at the end of the event, but they looked really good. But yeah, I was down at Scotland's strongest man as well with the team, and Mark Sheriff's had Atlas stones down there, so the public could load some to the barrel and things as well. So it was good fun down there helping out. It was a really, really good day.
So are you going to be going to the Rogue Invitational? That's in Aberdeen, isn't it?
It's 5 minutes away from my house, basically.
Is it?
I haven't bought tickets yet because I'm just being tight. It was 240 quid for tickets, so I was like, do I, don't and then I was thinking getting tickets for the wife and that, and then I was like, God, you're over 500-600 quid, just like that.
Yeah.
So I was just hanging fire to see if any cheaper tickets came out or anything like that, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, because that's a big one, isn't it? I mean, that's their main show that they're hosting, I think, for the first time in Scotland, I think. So
3-day show, I think.
I think it might be the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, it's kind of like is it middle? I want to say middle of November, isn't it? It's
I think must 11th. I think 11th.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
And I think so I'm unsure. There'll be. I want to go, but
surely you can get some kind of all the people you know and what you do. You must be able to kind of go and do like some kind of exhibition.
I'll walk down to the door with my trophy in my hand or something. Will that work?
We'll just go and say, I'm here to do.
I just want to say UK's strongest stone lifter is here. So can you let me?
Yeah.
It'll be pretty cool having all those athletes in Aberdeen and that. So if anybody sees this and they want to come and train in my shed before an event or that, they can, no problem.
Yeah, because you'll have obviously both. But I think both Stoltmans will be obviously Mitch Hooper. You know, everyone, all the top guys will be there, won't they? And
Thor's coming over as well. So
Thor's coming over as well. Yeah.
So no, it'll be pretty cool. Very cool.
And then also, I know that Yeah, like Lucy Underdown, who we've had on the podcast before.
Mhm.
She's going to be there. Rebecca Roberts will be there, who we've had on. Donna Moore, all the women will be there as well. So no, it'll be yeah, it'll be incredible. Yeah.
No, it'll be a great weekend. I think Jamie Goring's got another competition down at the Stonelifting comp the same weekend. I think the Sunday though.
Okay.
He's got a novice Stonelifting comp on there as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's lots of things happening.
Yeah, excellent. Oh, well, it's been absolutely incredible talking to you, John. It really has, and I'm so glad that we, like you say, that we set this up, or Pete and you set it up, and then you went and won yesterday. Is just
I know.
icing on the cake, you know.
Winning that yesterday, it was just mind blowing for me. It was a real dream come true sort of thing. Started this 4 years ago, and to be at this sort of level, competing with the guys that I was against yesterday, it was pretty special.
Yeah, no,
So,
that's incredible, and yeah, and well done on everything you've done in terms of all your achievements, and yeah, if people haven't watched, I know we've mentioned it a few times, if people haven't watched the Stones documentary, just go on to maximumiron.com. I think actually you can just order it now on Amazon Prime as well. I think you can
it is
just
on Amazon Prime. Yep, sure
yeah
is. Yeah, you can download it off his website as well.
yeah.
But yeah, he's done an incredible job for a one-man band.
Mm.
Amount of times he's travelled from, I think it's Manchester, James is from, up to Scotland on his scooter. Uh, he's and he was even there yesterday at the comp. He's got a bigger scooter now, so he can go a bit quicker. But he was there yesterday doing all the filming and that. He really does an amazing job. So if anybody can support him and download this movie, then it all goes to a great cause, and it's going on to his next one as well. I think
Yeah.
he's doing some short videos of some of the athletes as well. So I think he's done one for Chris Beetham. I think I'll be getting one, so it'll be like short, maybe 15-minute episodes on each person as well, which is pretty cool.
I think I saw that because I went on his site earlier today to look for something, and I think he said that it's called like stories or something coming up, and like you said, where he does an individual profile of each person and loads of clips of them lifting and their story, and yeah, so no, that'll be
Yeah.
great. And if people, John, do want to follow you to watch everything that
Yeah.
you're doing and see this fantastic shed, because a lot of people just listen to this, they don't watch it.
Yeah.
If they want to see this fantastic new trainer, what are you? Is it Highland Wolf _strength? Is that you on?
On Instagram it is, and then Highland Wolf Strength on Facebook as well. So the Facebook one's relatively new that I've started. I am John Gibb as well, so that I've got my own. But I thought I was going to try and put it onto a professional profile on Facebook. But Instagram's where most folk know me from, and my kids often get their videos on and things of them training. My wife trains as well now, so yeah, it's a real family affair, and yeah.
So is your wife getting into stone lifting as well?
No, she's not doing that, but she's definitely got into deadlifting and that. So she's been repping out 100 kg for a few reps and that. So yeah, she's getting there. Definitely, it's good for her job and that as well. So, yeah, she's done well. Really impressed with her, and she's got an incredible voice, as you heard.
I think that was maybe before we started. I don't know if that was before we started recording.
Was it?
If you do watch any of the videos from John competing yesterday at Britain's Strongest Stonelifter, the person shouting very loud encouragement the whole way through is John's wife, which is amazing. Brilliant. Yeah, thank you so much.
If you saw the videos back at Scotland's Strongest, my two wee boys are shouting me, but they're not shouting "Come on, Dad." They're copying my wife and shouting "Come on, John." It's quite funny. It got quite a lot of likes and that, and
oh, I'll have to go back and have a look at that.
I know what I'm doing this evening.
Quite funny.
Excellent. Yeah, so do give John a follow. Highland Wolf _strength on Instagram, Highland Wolf Strength on Facebook. If you do happen to, do as well, download the Stones documentary, and you'll see John on there and lots of other stone lifters as well. Yeah, that was fantastic, John. Thanks so much, especially just, considering how tired you probably are today and everything you did yesterday. But it's great to talk to you. And next week we are joined by Daniel Vintella, who is powerlifting strongman. He's just did a comp last weekend at Chaos Strength, I think, in Preston. Placed second in there. So Daniel Vintella will be on with us next week. Do share, like, subscribe, leave a review if you're watching or listening on a platform to do so, especially if you are on Apple Podcasts. I haven't checked actually recently to see any updated reviews, but Apple Podcasts, and if you leave a review on there, we'll read it out online and we'll send you out some free merch, hoodie, t-shirt, that sort of thing. And we will be back next week, like I say, with Daniel Vintella. Thank you so much, John, and hope you get a good sleep tonight and have a good early night.
Yeah. Sure. Well, thank you very much. It's been a real pleasure. Excellent.
And thank you, Mr. Peter Lance.
This has been great. Honestly, I was talking to John about this just on Instagram when he'd said, oh, I've been listening to the podcast, I've followed you and all that. And it was like, I love how this connects people. And we've talked about it before, and we just like had Stevie on, we've watched a documentary and we've got one of the stars on it's just amazing how it happens. I love it.
Yeah. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Yeah. So thank you so much, everybody. And we will see you next week for episode 221. Bye-bye.